Okay, I want to welcome everybody on board tonight. I got 8 o'clock at September 25th, 2018. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about a strategy, not really a strategy, but about how to manage a business. And what I see too often what happens is people don't treat their business like a business. They don't really manage their business the way businesses are managed. And probably the first thing I would like to really recommend, again, you don't have to take anything I say verbatim. It's just suggestions that I've discovered over, my tenure and history in business. But you should never manage by what you think about people. And you should also never manage by how you feel about people. And there's a difference between how you think about people and how you feel about people. You might think somebody's really, really smart, and you might feel really good about somebody. And just because you think they're smart or you feel good about them, that you should manage your business based upon that. And you should also not manage based upon what people say. And then you should not manage how people look. And what you'll find out, most of us, when we get involved in network marketing, because as a people business, we have a tendency to be influenced by how we feel about people, what we think about people, and by what people say, and then how people look. Because maybe somebody comes in and they've got all these credentials, they look really, really good, so we think they're going to blow this thing up. Or you get somebody comes in, they talk the talk, so you think, man, you got yourself a winner. Or you get somebody that comes in and man, you really like the person, you just feel good about them. Or you get somebody come, they look like a man, like they have a lot of influence, and all of a sudden, you're thinking that's your success person. And even though all that's relative, it's all real. What you really need to manage your business by is by stats, and nothing but stats. Because you might think a person can't chew gum and walk, and if they can produce a stat, that's where your production is going to come from. You might hate a person, but if they produce, that's where your business growth comes from. And you might have a person that never says anything, says, "Oh, I just don't know if I can do this," but if they make it happen, that's where your growth comes from. And then you might have a person that, in fact, is they might have a car that doesn't start. They might live in a trashy apartment. They might not have any clothes, but they produce a stat. So really what you got to look at, you just got to look at managing your business by stats. And what's nice about network marketing, there are only a few stats that you need to manage your business by. Okay. They're either exposure stats or outcome stats. Those are the only two things you want to look at. And as far as exposure stats, you can look at that as anything that is controllable. And so again, in network marketing, you expose, and then people get involved, and then you upgrade. Well, the outcome is the involvement in the upgrade, but the exposure is the controllable. That's the stat. That's the one that really, when I first get somebody started, that's the one I really focus on, because that's the one we can 100% control. Now, when you look at our iWebitool system, okay, we're dumping traffic and leads in. Then we have the automated invitation system that starts plopping out invites to all the leads, and then it goes into the funnel, it sifts, sorts, and starts, and it pops them out as a consumer or buyer or producer. So that's our system, that's our model. But the controllable component is the number of opt-ins you get. So what I like to look at as I sit down and talk with my leaders, I tell everybody, manage your opt-ins. Give me a number every week of how many opt-ins you have. And then as far as the outcome, we like to look at the new people that get in. We like to look at the consumers and the buyers. But the number one indicator that you have in growth is the producer, and the producer will be on the iWebitool. So the two biggest stats that I look at is the number of opt-ins and the number of people that you have in your organization on iWebitool. Now, how do I find opt-ins? Well, when you go into your iWebitool back office, okay, and then you click on stats and analytics, and then you want to scroll or click on the drop-down button to tracking. And I like to track by week. And since the weekend's on Saturday, we're going to go back to the previous week. And then as you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that I had 82 opt-ins this week. So that's my opt-in number. That's the number I'm tracking. That's my stat. And so that I tell all my leaders, okay, every Saturday you need to accumulate all the stats from everybody, all your producers in your organization, and then give me a total opt-in stat. Tell me how many opt-ins you had for the week. Well, and what you look at, again, when you start to manage by stats, you realize a stat is never stagnant. If a stat is flat, the stat is dying. Okay, and again, we'll get into the how to identify what condition your business is in, and how to move your business to the next level. But that's all done by stats. But just realize a stat has to be growing or it's dead. If it's flat, it's dead. If it's not growing, it's going backwards. And so then you just track that stat and you just graph it out. And every week you can tell exactly what's going on. And every week you want your opt-ins to be going up in your group. And so once you have a focus on it and getting those opt-ins to keep going up, then you have the focus on the right thing. You're just looking to manage that stat. And what's the next stat that I look at? I look at the number of iWebitool people. How do I find that? You go to your back office and you click on your personal line of sponsorship. Oops, I'm timed out there. Sorry, let me get back in here. You click on your personal line of sponsorship. Now, you want to put a 0 in this box. Now, it's going to take a long time for this to run. So rather than just running it, I actually did one on a group here before. Here we go. And then this is what pops up. Okay, now I did gray out all this stuff here so that you can't see. In fact, let me do this. I might have it on another spot here. Yeah, this is actually what comes up on the site itself, and I'll show you how to transfer this over to a spreadsheet. So this is what pops up, and then you just basically copy all of this, and then you move it to a spreadsheet. And when you put it into the spreadsheet, okay, then what you do is you go over here to the on iWebitool, and you highlight that column, and then you want to sort it from Z to A. And so this particular person, who's a personal of mine, scroll down, and he's got 90 people on iWebitool. So that would be the stat he would give me every week. So he'd say, hey, I got 91 people on iWebitool. So the only two stats that I want from him or her, if it's a girl organization, I want her to tell me how many total opt-ins she had within her group, and then everybody in her group just tells me how many people have. Well, she doesn't have to have everybody report to her because she's got her whole group right here. There's 91 on iWebitool. And then another thing that we do on this page too, and I'm not going to do it just because of I've graded areas out, but it's got the date that they personally got sponsored. Okay, and then what you do is you can sort that too by newest date first, and that tells you how many new people got in this week. Then we can kind of cross-reference that number with the total number of opt-ins. And so this is how I manage my business. I keep it really, really simple. When I look at strategizing with my leaders, okay, I just say, hey, all I really want you to tell me is give me a total how many opt-ins you had this week. Okay, and then give me a total number of IBOs that you have on iWebitool. And again, the iWebitool participants, these are your producers. Okay, the buyers are people who want to make money, but they're not actively engaged in building an organization. And be quite honest with you, if you're not actively building an organization, I would recommend you don't use iWebitool. Okay, because then iWebitool becomes an expense for you. If you're just in this to make money, but you're not really working it, rather than spend $12.50 on iWebitool, go get yourself a product. Go get yourself some coffee. Go get yourself some colostrum. Get the cleaning product. Just get a product instead of spending iWebitool, because iWebitool is designed for the producer who's using it as a tool. And once you're a producer, then this becomes a tool that makes you money. So again, just to keep it really, really simple, every week you want to go ahead and get your opt-ins, and you get that from your back office of iWebitool. You click on your stats, and then you go ahead and you scroll down and click on tracking and do it by the week. And then all you really want to do is you want to give that number to your upline, the person that you're mentoring with. So so now your upline knows how many opt-ins you've got. And as you start having people report to you, you just transfer those up. And I just kind of put that on a spreadsheet and move it up. Second thing you do, you log into your iClub Biz back office, click on personal line of sponsorship, put 0, do the whole printout. When the whole printout comes up, go ahead and put it on a spreadsheet, okay, and then just do what we just did here. Figure out, how many total people you got on iWebitool, and that's the number that you put on the spreadsheet to go to your spot. Not your, and again, when I say your sponsor, it doesn't go to your sponsor. It goes to your upline mentor, the person who's actually building a business. Now, it might be your sponsor, but then again, it might not be. Again, what I look for is I just look for my producers to plug into me. And so when I teach guys, you want to strive for 5, you want to find 5 people who want to start treating their business like a business and start managing it by stats. And then as you start to learn how to drive the baby in depth, okay, as you start to drive that taproot down, okay, you'll find that some of the people, when they pop up, okay, and they say, yep, and this is one you're looking for that now. And that's the one you're going to partner with. The now is the one who's going to be engaged right from the get-go. They're going to stay active. They're going to be the one that's going to be giving you the stats that you can manage by. And if you manage your business by stats, it's the funnest thing you've ever done, because all you do is you let the stats tell you where to go. If somebody's calling you up all the time and they say, hey, I got a question about this, and you figure you got to answer all the questions, well, the problem is they'll wear you out. Okay. All I do is I just say, hey, listen, that's a great question. First of all, why are you doing this? Hey, that's great. And let me ask you a question. We got a system and a pattern that can help you work. And so how many people did opted into your iWebAtool system this week? And if they say, well, none, so that's your first goal. Let's get some people opted in. Well, how do I get people to opt into my iWebAtool? Well, go in your back office of iWebAtool and go ahead and click on the ADB and go ahead and start reading up on how you can use solo ads. So read up maybe how you can get some leads. You can buy leads, maybe some banner ads, or maybe go off and do some, go meet people. Okay, I don't care how you do it, but let's get some opt-ins. Let's get some new people opt into your iWebAtool system. That's all I got to focus on. There's nothing else I want to focus on. I want to just focus on getting opt-ins, and then as we drip the invites on them, and again, if we're not getting the results that we want from the new, in other words, let's say we got 100 opt-ins, but we're not getting 4 or 5 people to join out of those 100, well, then we're going to tweak the invites around a little bit. We'll administratively we'll manage that. But all I want my producers to do is focus on number of opt-ins. Get opt-ins. How do you get opt-ins? You can buy leads. You can go off and purchase banner ads. You can do some posts on Facebook. You can do solo ads. I don't care what you do. All the tools here will explain to you how to go ahead and get yourself some opt-ins. And when they identify themselves and they pop in, we start dripping on them, then you should convert some. And then those are the ones you want to get on the phone and you want to say, hey, I'll make a deal with you. I'll take my time, my money, my resources, my expertise to help you build a business to get your dreams, provide you follow our pattern, plug in a system, and commit to the $25 a month that we got the deal. And if they say yes, you say, great, first thing I want you to do, and again, here's what I tell guys, first thing I want you to do, I want you to take out your cell phone. I want you to take out your cell phone and I want you to text, 10, 15, 20 of your buddies and tell them you got something they got to check out. That's all I want you to send out. And those that reply back, I want you to send them to the 001. And here's what I send them to. Okay. And the reason I send it, and again, there's a couple reasons I have everybody do this. When I send them to the 001, right down here, build it one time so it lasts a test of time. And the reason I want my brand new IBO that just came on board and said, let's make a deal, I want that person to do it, because this is one way to get some opt-ins really, really quick, because he's going to send his friends, his warm market list. And when they opt in, okay, boom, you can start tracking some stats. Plus the fact, if I ask him to do something that level, get 10 or 20 people you text and they don't listen to me doing that, they probably won't listen to me to do anything else. And it saves me the time of trying to think I got somebody who I don't got anybody. And so if somebody says, well, I have no friends left. Okay, I understand. I mean, I'm part of the NFL club too, but you can still text 10, 20 of your friends. If you text 10, 20 of his friends and nobody gets in, then to say, okay, that's not a problem. Now let's go ahead and engage, get some solo ads. Let's go buy us some leads. And I was just talking to, Wayne yesterday. And I've got a really, really good lead broker, a list broker that I've been working with for 10 years. And we got some really, really good deals. I just bought 10,000 buyer leads for $300. Okay, and so that's the kind of opportunity you have being part of iWebAtool. And again, of those 10,000, how many opt-ins will I get? I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to get a couple hundred. And now 100 pops in. I want my conversion rate to be 4 or 5%, and so maybe out of that 10,000, I'm going to get maybe 10 new people to join. Okay, and again, this is again, I just manage by stats, and no matter what anybody tells me, say, yeah, we're going to do it. Here's what I want to do. Hey, that's great. How many opt-ins have you got this week? Okay, how many? What's the number you got on iWebAtool? Okay, tell me those two numbers. You tell me those two numbers, and then based on those two numbers that you tell me, that tells me what direction I need to go with you. Okay, if your stat is going down, okay, or if your stat is flat, your iWebitool number is flat. Okay, here's the formula to get you out of that condition. Okay, and everything's detailed out. First, you got to do this, then you got to do this, then you got to do this, and then so the stats tell me how I mentor people to get out of their condition. And so you first have to manage the stat to identify the condition. Then there's formulas to get you out of that condition. And then this is all stuff that will teach you as you start building an organization. But again, the only two stats that I'm really even concerned about is how many new opt-ins you got this week and what's the total number you have on iWebitool. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the recording now.